Hey everybody, welcome back to our monthly compilation video series. For the new guys that are new to the channel, we do these videos at the top of every month to recap what we expect to see released from all of the various model companies for the month, and this of course being for November of 2016. So we have releases from several of the overseas Japanese companies, as well as of course Revell and Round 2 here in the United States. So whipping out the old notebook of knowledge, let's take a look at what we're going to see. From Round 2, there are going to be 2 kits in the month of November at this point. One is something we normally wouldn't cover, but since there is so little to cover, we're just going to go ahead and mention it. From the MPC label, they're going to be reissuing the 1/8 scale custom Thunder Chopper motorcycle. It's going to receive the normal Retro Deluxe nonsense, new decals, the old box art and all that sort of thing. And then from AMT, they're going to reissue what they're calling the Graveyard Ghoul Duel, and that is going to be the Munsters kits back in a single box, both of them, the Dragula and the Barris Coach, as I like to call it. More people probably know it as being the Munsters Coach. The Barris Coach will be molded in black. The Dragula will be molded in gold. The Dragula will have its surf fin with it as well. There's going to be the background that came with the last version of the Dragula as well. Both the Dragula and the Munsters Coach were just reissued in 2011. Prior to that, those were separate kits, and prior to that, in 2010, of course, they were released in a collector's tin. This is going to be a commemorative thing for George Barris. They're going to be doing several George Barris current commemorative things since his passing, and this is going to be the first one. I personally, this is just them cashing in on existing tooling, because there's really, as far as I can tell, no viable reason to reissue these kits. Yeah, they tend to run a little more expensive, at least the tin does at this point, because it has both kits in it. But the expected hobby shop price for this is going to be close to $40, which has to be at least $10 more than the tin was back in 2010, and everybody complained that was too much money. So I don't know. I mean, obviously Round 2 does their thing where they do all of their movie licensing, and that is a major part of what Round 2 does, is the movie licensed kits. Obviously stuff like the Jack Reacher, Chevelle, where they reissued the old 70s Chevelle with a, that tie-in, and all the Three Stooges tie-in. So that's just what they do, and more power to them, I guess. I mean, it makes them money that could, potentially bring you stuff that you do want to see later on down the line. But there's nothing there that tickles my fancy. Over at Revell, this will be the reissue of the 1/25th scale Kenworth KW100. That's a kit that hasn't been out for quite a while in a U.S. boxing. It has had a Revell of Germany boxing. I want to say it's at least 5 years ago, maybe not quite that long, but it's been a while. And of course, the Revell of Germany kit has the Revell of Germany price. This is going to be a Revell boxing, so look for a $40-50 price tag rather than an $80-90 one. And they're also going to be the reissue of the 16. They're calling it a 16 now. I think it was a 15 in the build and play in previous, but a 2016 Corvette Stingray, and what this is going to be is a semi-undecorated version of the pre-paint kit. It's going to be that glue kit that the pre-paint was, but it's not going to be pre-painted. Instead, it's going to be molded in colors. And I say colors because that's what the advertising says, that it will be molded in more than one color. I don't know, it's a very monogram-esque thing to do. So, I mean, it's not like this something that this company, Revell Monogram, has never done before. However, I just think that, at this point, either mold it in color, all one color, and just be done with it, or mold it into just being white and be done with it. Obviously, Round 2 has been very successful in molding things in color and in white and releasing them in 2 separate boxes. The big thing about this kit not being pre-painted will be, of course, that it'll come with actual real water slide decals rather than everything being tampo printed onto the body. So there's that to look forward to. I'm still disappointed that we're not going to get a full detail kit of this Corvette, and obviously not of the race car Corvette. This Corvette, the street car, actually has less parts than the race car, which is hard to believe considering what the suspension is made up of on the race car, being 2 whole pieces. Obviously, the race car has the roll cage and all that stuff to make up for it, but it's just, it will be, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent here. It's just a disappointment to see that their take of modern cars is make toys out of them. And that is the domestic side of things. Over in the Japanese side of things, Fujimi was going to have 3 releases this month. They have pushed back the new Toyota Velfire van, the full-size Toyota van that's been pushed back into December now. So the releases from Fujimi this month will be the Nissan Skyline R31 GTM Tommy Kehrer tuned version. The R31 Skyline has been out. I think it's still actually currently in the catalog, and but the Tommy Kehrer one's been a while since that's been out. Obviously, that's a little licensing issue there, so got the licensing back for that. Be interested to see if they bring back some more of the old Tommy Kehrer things. There's at least an R32. Or, I don't know if there's an R32 or not. I'd have to go look for sure, but I know there's an R33 version. And then the other one is going to be the Mercedes E430 Avant-Garde. This, of course, is a reissue of the mid-late 90s Mercedes E-Series kits they did. They did, 230, a 340, a 430, and an E55 AMG. The 430 Avant-Garde, for some reason, is a very hard kit to come by. Some of the other ones are easier to find at a more reasonable price. So, while the E-Series was not the most accurate body shape, it is sort of the only game in town kind of thing, and it's good to have this back just to kill the kit value. Tamiya will be reissuing the Alfa Corsa 155 Alfa Romeo 155 Ti V6 DTM car, as well as the Martini-sponsored Alfa Romeo 155 Ti V6 International Touring Championship car. Those are 2 separate kits. Keep that in mind. One represents a 1993, one represents a 1996. So they are different. There are a number of differences between the 2 kits. Interiors are different, or interior pieces, I should say, are different. The engine intake and top half of the engine are different. The front bumpers are different. There's, like I said, we figured this out back when the carbon fiber decal sets for these 2 kits were being done by Studio 27, because I went and I found one of the Bosch liveried versions, then bought the replacement decals from Shunko Models, and then got my carbon fiber decals, and I was all like, yay! And then I sat down with the carbon fiber decals and the kit decals, or the kit instructions rather, and they don't match because they're not the same kit. At this point in time, Studio 27 does make carbon fiber for both kits. Just know that when you're looking for it, the DTM decals go to the older cars, the Alfa Corsa, the red one, and the Jägermeister, the orange one, and then the Martini livery and the Bosch livery. And they have not really reissued the Bosch livery, so if you want one of those, you got to find an original. Those ones are listed as being a 96 ITC carbon fiber, so make sure you get the right carbon fiber if you're into that type of thing. BMAX with the big new tool release this month, and that, of course, being the BMW M3 from the 1991 DTM Championship Series, the 1991 Championship car. That's a very exciting release. I know it's one that's here or there, whether it should have had an engine, doesn't have an engine, blah, 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 but anything that will supplant and replace the old Fujimi M3 that is slammed in the sense that it looks like somebody smashed it with their hand, and also not prototypically correct in any body dimension because it fits that generic motorized chassis that they used. There's also under the Mercedes-Benz E190 race car. Fantastic. Glad to have it. Have several on pre-order. Be very, very interested to see what decal sheets are going to be offered for this kit in the end of this year, beginning of next year. I believe we'll probably see the first set of decals for this come out in December from Studio 27, and then next year, the spring, is going to be nothing but M3 decals and M6 decals once the M6 comes out in December. Over at Aoshima, it's actually a reasonably good list of stuff. Not very much of it is like, ooh, I gotta have it, but it's a lengthy list. Straight reissues in their existing box art. Reissue of the FD3S Mazda RX-7 Veilside Combat, the Subaru Sambar Akabu. Now, this is the old Subaru Sambar that is a Best Car Vintage kit. It is not the newer style Sambar that is the 114-piece kit they tooled up in 2013. Reissue of the 1989 Mazda RX-7 FC3S Late Type. Reissue of the Mazda Speed AutoZam AZ1. So here's an opportunity to pick up the one missing AZ1 that you can't get a hold of very easily because it's been out of production for a little while. They're going to reissue the Lamborghini Aventador 50th Anniversario kit again, reissue of the A31 Nissan Cefiro Altezza Cruising, and that is the kit that has an engine insert in it, and then a reissue of the Mines, or as it has been brought to my attention by watching a bunch of old Japanese Grand Touring Championship car races, Mine in Japanese, at least by the Japanese narrator, because the whole thing's in Japanese, is pronounced Mine over there. So I don't know if that's Mine or if it's actually Mines, like this belongs to me. But anyway, it's one of the best tuner versions of the R34 that's out there as far as I'm concerned. The kit itself leaves a little bit to be desired in the chassis, having everything molded into it. But as far as the body and the overall look of the car, I love the R34 Mines tuner kit, and that is going to be, like I said, reissued. That's the last of that. And then in this new box art series, these are, again, existing kits that are being packaged into those new boxings we've talked about before. In the model car series, which is factory stock type of stuff, it's all race cars this month. They're going to reissue the KY910 Nissan Bluebird Super Silhouette from the 1983 racing series, the KS110 Nissan Silvia Super Silhouette, easy to say, from the 1982 series, and then they're going to reissue, and they just reissued this, so it's kind of funny to see it come back around already again, is the Mazda RX-7 from the 1979 24 Hours of Daytona. Keep in mind, all of those kits, all three of them are Best Car Vintage, formerly motorized, universal chassis, and all that sort of things. The Super Silhouettes were such a wild and neat Japanese race series back in the early 80s. I really wish they would do an actual genuine kit of one that maybe not necessarily has to have an engine, but at least isn't motorized and early 1980s Japanese model kit in every way that is bad, but it sells, so they're not going to fix it. In the tuned model car series, they're going to reissue the Fabulous, which is a VIP tuning house, UCF 31 Toyota Celsior, and that is a 2003 version. Toyota Celsior, of course, is the Lexus LS 430 in the United States. This is a right-hand drive Japanese-only version, as well as the Hot Company, another VIP tuning company, Toyota Hiace from 2012. Lastly, the Tune Parts series, this is what the wheels and stuff are getting packaged into. On the 16-inch wheels, they'll be reissuing the RS Watanabes, Longchamp RX4s, Volk TE37s, and the Buddy Club P1 racing wheels. All of these should be very familiar to longtime viewers of the show because they've been reissued at least twice in the 2.5 years that we've been on the air, as well as the fact that these are also the wheels that belong to all of the Toyota 86 Truno and Levin kits. The Watanabes are from the initial D series. The Longchamps are in the Car Boutique. The Volks are in the N2 version, and the Buddy Clubs are not actually in a current version, but they were in a past version of just the factory stock cars. And then on the 19-inch wheel side of things, of course, VIP wheels, all of them from the SSR Wheel Company, and they are the SSR Executor, the SSR Professor SP1, the SSR Professor SP3, and the SSR Professor MS3. So, I'm not planning to put everything into this in the sense of editing it up. Just going to post it. So, do your research there, or wait till the wheels come out if you're not sure what those look like. But that, I believe, guys, will be the end of November's releases. So, a little light on the domestic side. Should be interesting to see what round 2 is in store for December. They have a lot of kits, probably about 10 or so, that have box art done for them, but they're not currently available to pre-order. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those come out before the end of the year if they do a big push for Christmas. Revell's pretty much, the Cadillac and... I'd have to go look at the fourth quarter flyer, but the Cadillac's lowrider, of course, still has to come out, and there's got to be at least one more kit in there. And then, of course, we'll look forward to Revell Germany stuff towards the end of next month in January as well. So, anyway, guys, that'll wrap it up for this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and now you know how to spend your money for the month of November. See you guys on the other side.